Let's be honest, most people won't tell you to your face that they don't like you. Instead, they hide behind fake smiles, empty compliments, and shallow politeness. I've been there. I once believed someone was a true friend, only to realize later that they secretly hoped I would fail. Harsh? Maybe, but it's reality. And if you don't learn to recognize the signs, you'll end up wasting your time and energy on people who don't truly care about you. So let's put aside the excuses and face the truth. Let's talk about the subtle, hidden signs that someone doesn't like you, but won't say it out loud. What you're about to hear might be uncomfortable, but facing the truth is always better than living in denial. Before we dive in, just a quick note. Our Stoic tribe is growing every day thanks to your support. If you haven't already, consider subscribing and liking this video to stay connected. Now, let's begin. Sign number 1, they always joke about your flaws. We all know that one person who loves to make jokes, especially when those jokes are aimed at us. They laugh, grin, and say, "Relax, I'm just teasing." But let's not fool ourselves. These jokes often go beyond harmless fun. They're calculated jabs wrapped in humor, aimed straight at your self-esteem. I remember someone close to me constantly commenting on how I dressed, how I spoke, even how I worked on my projects. At first, I laughed it off, but eventually I saw the pattern. Every joke targeted my perceived weaknesses, never my strengths. And it made me wonder, am I really the problem? Here's the uncomfortable truth. They weren't joking because they loved me. They were testing how much disrespect I would tolerate. It was a subtle form of manipulation, a way to keep me small while maintaining control. And the worst part? We're often conditioned to believe that if we can't take a joke, we are the problem. But no, there's nothing wrong with defending your dignity. If someone crosses the line, you have every right to speak up. You deserve people who lift you up, not those who tear you down for a cheap laugh. Real friends don't humiliate you. They celebrate your strengths and help you with your struggles without turning them into a punchline. I've seen it over and over. People laugh along just to avoid conflict. But letting someone consistently joke at your expense is a dangerous slope. It chips away at your confidence until you begin to question your own worth. Eventually, I realized that I was complicit in my own harm. By smiling, I gave them permission to keep going. But when I finally set boundaries and defended myself, something powerful shifted, not just in how they treated me, but in how I saw myself. So here's my advice. Next time someone makes you the target of a joke, don't just laugh it off. Ask yourself, is this really funny, or is there something deeper going on here? If it's the latter, speak up. Yes, it might feel awkward. It might even end the friendship. But your self-respect is worth more than someone else's twisted sense of humor. Life is too short to be surrounded by people who only highlight your flaws. You deserve to be seen, valued, and respected. Sign number 2. They give backhanded compliments. You've probably heard this one before. A compliment that feels more like a slap than praise. You pause and wonder, was that really a compliment? Or a cleverly disguised insult? Sadly, it's usually a little bit of both. These backhanded compliments are dressed up in kindness, but they're designed to make you feel small. I remember working tirelessly on a project, days of effort and late nights. When I finally shared it with colleagues, someone smiled and said, "Wow, this is really good for someone like you." I froze. The last few words hit me like a punch. Someone like me? What does that even mean? Let's be real. These kinds of remarks aren't meant to celebrate your success. They're subtle power plays. The person isn't lifting you up. They're reminding you where they think you belong, below them. It's a toxic game, And the worst part? These comments often come from people who are insecure themselves. They see your strength, your potential, and instead of being inspired, they feel threatened. So, they sprinkle just enough poison into their words to keep you doubting yourself. Backhanded compliments are sugar-coated control tactics. They pat you on the back with one hand while pushing you down with the other. Here's the deeper truth: you don't have to accept them. You don't have to smile and say, "Thank you." If someone says, "You're smarter than you look," or "This is impressive for a beginner," it's okay to respond with, "Thanks. What do you mean by that?" That one question often exposes their hidden intent, and it makes them uncomfortable because suddenly you're not playing along. It took me time to realize that their words weren't about me. They were reflections of their own insecurities. When I stopped internalizing their comments, they lost their power over me. Now, when someone gives me a compliment that feels a bit off, I don't absorb it. I question it. And sometimes I even laugh. Because their words say more about them than they ever could about me. Remember, your worth isn't defined by passive-aggressive remarks, even if they come from a friend, a coworker, or someone in your own family. True compliments lift you. They don't make you shrink. So, if someone's words make you question your value, it's time to question their intentions instead. Sign number 3. They subtly exclude you from their plans. Few things sting more than realizing your so-called friends accidentally forgot to invite you to dinner, a party, or a weekend getaway. They may say it slipped their mind. They may tell you it was a last-minute thing. Or worse, they assume you'd be busy and use that as an excuse. But let's be real. These situations rarely happen by accident. When someone truly values you, they find a way to include you. This kind of exclusion is one of the most silent but painful forms of social rejection. It tells you, without words, that you're not as important to them as you thought. I remember once scrolling through my phone and seeing photos from an event I had been excited to attend, only to realize that no one had told me it was happening. And when I brought it up later, the responses were vague and filled with excuses. "We thought you had other plans." It was all very last minute. But I knew the truth. If they had really wanted me there, they would have made sure I knew. That realization cut deeper than any argument ever could. Let's be clear, this isn't about being forgotten, it's about being excluded, intentionally. It's a passive-aggressive way to push you out of their circle without having the courage to say it directly. And that's cowardly. Avoiding confrontation doesn't make someone kind, it just makes them dishonest. So what can you do? Speak up. Ask the hard question. I noticed I wasn't included. Was there a reason? It won't be easy. It might even make things awkward. But it will force clarity. You'll either receive an apology and see real effort to make things right, or you'll confirm what you already suspected. They didn't want you there. Either way, you win, because you stop wondering. And remember, people who truly value your presence will make space for you, no matter how spontaneous the plan is. If you constantly feel like an afterthought, it's time to rethink where you truly stand. You deserve to be with people who are excited to have you around, not those who hope you won't notice you've been left out. Sign number 4, they're only busy when it comes to you. Let's talk about one of the most popular excuses in human history. I'm just really busy lately. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? It's understandable. We're all juggling work, responsibilities, and a million distractions. But there's a difference between being busy and being too busy for you. When someone claims they're swamped, but somehow finds time to hang out with others, go on trips, or socialize with mutual friends, it's not about time, it's about priority. That truth can be hard to swallow. It means that, in their mind, you simply don't matter as much as you once did. I've been there. Reaching out to someone who once felt like a close friend, trying to plan something only to be met with constant delays and vague promises. Maybe next week. I'm slammed with work. And yet, somehow, they had time for everyone else but me. At first, I bought the excuses. I told myself they were genuinely overwhelmed. But patterns don't lie. They weren't too busy. They were just too busy for me. And that realization hurt, but it also set me free. The truth is, people make time for what and who they care about. If someone always has an excuse, they're telling you something without saying it out loud. They've moved on. They're just too polite or too afraid to say it directly. Don't chase people who have already made it clear that you're no longer a part of their world. You're not being needy by wanting their time. You're simply asking for respect. So when someone keeps pushing you to the bottom of their list, take the hint. Prioritize those who prioritize you. Sign number 5. They avoid physical contact like the plague. Let's return to something that often goes unnoticed, but says everything. Physical touch, or more accurately, the lack of it. We're not just talking about hugs or romance. Touch is a human language, a handshake, a pat on the shoulder, sitting beside someone without tension. These gestures communicate trust, safety, and warmth without a single word. But when someone pulls away from even the smallest gesture, flinching when you reach out, stiffening when you move close, that's not nothing. That's something. I've seen it, I've felt it. And maybe you have too. At first, I convinced myself it was just their personality. Maybe they weren't a touchy person, but then I noticed how they acted with others. Friendly hugs, warm gestures, open body language, just not with me. That's when I realized it wasn't about them, it was about us. Avoiding touch was their way of keeping distance, not just physically but emotionally. It was a silent wall built brick by brick saying, "I'm not comfortable with this connection." And that was painful to accept. But here's the truth. When someone truly values you, their body language doesn't shut down. It opens up. And if someone consistently avoids closeness with you, but not with others, it's time to ask why. This isn't about demanding affection. It's about recognizing patterns and having the courage to confront what they mean. Don't live in confusion, wondering why something feels off. Ask the hard questions. Have the difficult conversations. Because clarity is better than pretending. You deserve relationships where closeness isn't feared, where a handshake, a hug, or simply sitting beside someone feels natural. If someone holds you at a distance, even without words, don't ignore it. The silence is speaking. Sign number 6, they disappear when you need them most. Nothing tests the strength of a relationship like a moment of crisis. It's easy to be around when everything is light, fun, and effortless. But the people who show up when life is falling apart, those are the ones who matter. So what does it say when someone you trust vanishes the moment you need them most? It says they were never really there to begin with. I'll never forget one of the hardest times in my life. I was overwhelmed, vulnerable, and desperately needed support. I reached out to the people I considered close, friends I'd laughed with, confided in, shown up for. What I received was silence. Not a call, not a text, just excuses. Work's been crazy. I've been meaning to call. They never did, and the truth hit me like a wave. Some people are only with you for the good days. They enjoy your light, your laughter, your highs, but when darkness comes, they vanish. Not because they're too busy, but because they never plan to carry any of your weight. That's not friendship, that's convenience. Support is not just about showing up when it's easy. It's about being there, especially when it's hard. So when someone disappears during your lowest point, don't ignore it. That moment reveals everything. Their absence is not neutral. It's loud. It's telling you exactly how much you matter to them. It hurts. It always does. But it's also freeing. Because now you know. Use that pain as a filter. Let it show you who deserves a place in your life. Those who stay, who check in, who make time even when it's messy, those are your people. Don't invest in temporary connections. Build with those who see you, hear you, and stand by you when the storm hits. Sign number 7. They talk behind your back. Let's talk about something even more corrosive than silence: gossip. It spreads faster than fire, and once it begins, it can burn down the very foundation of trust. If someone you consider a friend talks behind your back, they're not just sharing stories. They're sabotaging your reputation, your confidence, and your relationship while pretending to care. I've been through it. There was a time I confided in someone I trusted deeply. I opened up about something personal, vulnerable, and raw. I thought it was safe. I was wrong. Within days, twisted versions of my words started circulating. Private pain had become public entertainment. It was humiliating. That betrayal cut deeper than I can explain, not just because of what they said, but because it revealed who they truly were. Gossip is a form of cowardice. It's the act of saying in secret what someone doesn't have the courage to say face to face. It's manipulation wrapped in charm. And here's the harsh truth. If someone gossips to you, they're probably gossiping about you. It's a habit, not a one-time slip. The person who goes quiet when others walk in, they were likely just talking about them. Gossip destroys trust, and trust, once broken, is hard to rebuild. So if you hear that someone is speaking behind your back, believe it. Don't let their fake smiles fool you. Real friends don't use your vulnerability as ammunition. They protect your name, even when you're not around. Remember this. True friendship is built on support, not suspicion. On loyalty, not lies. If someone shows you who they are through whispered words and hidden conversations, listen closely. Because actions, especially the ones done in the dark, always reveal the truth. Not every relationship in your life is meant to stay, and not every person who smiles at you has good intentions. But you have the power to choose. Choose to surround yourself with people who celebrate your strengths, respect your boundaries, support your growth, and value your presence. Choose friends who show up, who stand tall beside you in silence, not just noise. Walk away from those who belittle you in disguise. Let go of the ones who only love convenience. And above all, remember this: you are worthy of real connection. You are deserving of loyalty, and you are enough exactly as you are. Thank you for watching. If this message resonated with you, subscribe to Stoic Tribe, leave a like, and share your thoughts below. Together, we can keep building a space where truth, courage, and self-respect are never optional. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "Be self-sufficient." Let not the behavior of others disturb your peace. The problem is not what happens, but how you perceive it. Until next time, stay grounded and stay true to yourself.